I am super honoured, super blessed, super astounded that I'm actually 25 years old. I'm going to let you in on some of what's been happening in my life. So here comes some very serious trigger warnings, so please be prepared. What I'm about to say is very heavy. So I'll be discussing anxiety, depression, self-harm, suicide, eating disorders, racism, sexual assault, trauma, bullying, addiction, and discrimination. All very triggering topics. So grab a tissue if you don't have one already, and hold on to someone strong because this may be a lot to take in. A lot of you have seen me as a very happy child, boy, young man for many years. And there is so much truth to that. But for the last 12 years, a lot of it has been an act. You could even go back a little bit further. I have always been a very over-the-top, as we can see from the trousers, flamboyant and expressive kid. Always been loud, always loved the sparkly, again, the trousers, or brightly coloured thing, and have always been dancing. I have always been seen as what is more, air quoted, feminine, more caring, more nurturing, expressive, softer and calmer. I have always been interested in girls and women from the day I was born. I am certain my parents have plenty of embarrassing stories that they could tell you.
Oh yes.
So it was a shock to girl crazy Darius that he started to get bullied about his sexuality when all he ever knew was loving women. The majority of my friends as a child, and still to this day, are women. I have always felt safer with them. I guess the other boys had an issue with it and started calling me a girl, trying to show me that my God-given personality was less than what it took to be a man. These were 7-year-olds, by the way, so they were little boys. I tried to ignore it, but when everyone seems to have an opinion on what your interests are, what you're doing, and if they were or weren't manly enough, it really hurts. I would often pick more fashion-based toys over the cars or action heroes. It would be me looking after the baby dolls instead of driving the cars, probably because I really wanted to be a dad. So the lovely, joyful spirit that little Darius had began to get crushed from doing absolutely nothing, just merely existing. Around that time, I discovered who God was in Sunday school, and it was all so fascinating to me to be learning about all the amazing things that God does and has done. But I would still hear those same voices questioning my validity as a man in spaces I was meant to feel safe. School, church, family gatherings, all felt tainted by a stereotype I didn't choose, that they say I just wasn't enough. I didn't like the typical boy things. I didn't like football, I didn't support any team, and I would rather watch a fashion show or listen to music than be involved in sport or sing football charts. They literally give me the creeps. I have always been creative. It's been my outlet, but it has also been the thing that has been targeted. Maybe because people were jealous. I don't know, but my love for dance in primary school was what tormented me. I didn't fit in anywhere. I was the darkest one. I was the only Christian. I was the only one standing out. By age 7, I started to get low feelings from all the bullying. During that same period, some men and boys who were older than me didn't know how to have boundaries with me. From being held and caressed in inappropriate ways to witnessing an act that no child should ever see, my innocence began to fade, my bodily autonomy disappearing with it. By age 8, I was having panic attacks that were masked under asthma attacks. Age 9, I was purging myself after being humiliated in front of my whole class for being my way. This began a war against food and eating disorders. I was the fat one, the big black one. I became a thing and not a person. My so-called best friend at the time told me, life would be so much better if you just killed yourself, and that stuck with me. He may not have known what he was saying, but I did. By the time I was 10, I was a very sad child, constantly crying, finding places to hide. I would bang my head against the walls so hard until I got dizzy. Surrounded by a lot of fake friends, They held onto the facade that they cared about me, just so at school discos that my dad would play their favourite songs, but the day after, someone would be cracking the whip because they wanted to treat me like I'm a slave. I remember crying on my secondary school induction day, seeing everyone who had bullied me rock up. The torture would continue, and it got worse. By 12, I was inappropriately touched multiple times, front and back, in an IT lesson. The teacher didn't believe me. She brushed it off with, "Boys will be boys." I carried that shame. I carried that brokenness. That boy who touched me got away with no punishment. In fact, he touched me to, air quote, prove that I was gay. Before I move forward, I would like to remind everyone in the room of the power of their words and their actions. For that teacher and that student, that's something that has left them, they've forgotten about, but it scarred me for life. Please speak and act to uplift others and do not harm. And if you do intentionally harm someone, please apologise. From that day, saw a series of unfortunate and painful events. I was hit with chains, spat on, chased around school, violated, hair touched, hit and pushed to the ground. That would have been enough. My body started reacting to all of this pain, more panic attacks, yet unknown what they were, deeper depression, addictions, starving and purging myself, eating until I threw up, profuse sweating, hurting myself, more anxiety, the same bullying in school being echoed everywhere I went. I couldn't escape it. It all led up to the worst sexual assault of my life. So bad that I have memory loss from the trauma. All that I know is that we were clothed, but I could feel him pressed into me. I didn't know that it was so bad. I just knew that I was in pain. People say that men don't have eating disorders or anxiety, don't get sexually assaulted or raped, but I am living proof that that happens, and it shouldn't be diminished. I wanted to be sick. I wanted to die in that moment. I wanted it to all be over. On the 26th of January 2014 at 10 a.m, just before church, was the first time I tried to end my life. But God saved me and he caught my falling soul. That wasn't the end of the pain nor the trauma, but I hope this explains why today is so important to me. I didn't plan on being here tonight because I was planning on dying at 15 years old. My life would have ended because of all of the bullies, all of the abusers, all of the perpetrators, all of the demons that had tormented me and harassed me for years. But God stepped in. They can't grab hold of me anymore because there is power in the name of Jesus. I have lived 10 years more than I thought I would. I got to do so much in that time, from my year 11 prom to my first job at Pizza Hut. If anyone here remembers that time, you are a real one. Working at Oxford Fashion Week and Oxford Fashion Studio with Carl Anglin and Tiffany Saunders, to becoming a trustee and now employee of Oxfordshire Youth, performing at the Golden Globes, the Oscars, the Monaco Grand Prix, the greatest dance. Recently working with Specsavers, being a part of Collective Conversations, and now working with Make It Mandatory. So much has happened. So many real relationships built, so many old relationships cut off. It's really been a journey. I have been in therapy since I was 22, which was near the last time I was sexually assaulted. Starting therapy also coincided with when my first Grandma Campbell, passed away. The last couple of years have been tough, being in therapy, losing all of my remaining grandparents, healing from the trauma, and then relearning the parts of the trauma that I had once forgotten. It has been a roller coaster. But as tough as it, and as difficult and as painful as it has been, I wouldn't change it. The 25-year-old man that you see before you right now is more empathetic, compassionate, and loving because of the darkness that he's been through. Not that it's anyone's business, but the speculation still remains. So, I'm straight, just in case you're still wondering. I'm a heterosexual man, I like women. The reason I say that is to this day, I still have people constantly not only questioning it, but demanding that they knew better. That in itself is firstly very rude, and secondly very triggering, because almost every single assault started with a man wholeheartedly believing that I was gay or that I wanted him. Some of them were even in relationships. I am no one's plaything. I am not to be used or abused. I am no one's Pinocchio or dance monkey. I am not a target to hurl abuse at. I am a whole human. I am a man. Also, I'm not your girl either. I know it's really fun to say, but please don't misgender me because I would never misgender you. So, allow me to reintroduce myself. I am Darius Smith, child of God, a black man, son to Gary and Yvonne. I am so much more than meets the stereotypes. I defy expectation and go beyond limitation. I cannot be boxed in by a stereotype, by a horoscope, zodiac, or star sign, so please don't identify me in that way. I am not defined by your opinions nor the rumours you hear about me. I don't have to carry that burden any longer, so whether you hate my outfit, my hair, my weight, my personality, or me, I simply don't have the time to care or the time to listen to what you have to say. Your words, your comments, your gossiping means nothing to me. I don't know the limitation of your constrained version of masculinity that's rigid, callous, bland, and predictable. I have no intention of fitting in. I am unexpected. I am different. I am me, completely, unapologetically, with no remorse or shame. I am aware that what I've just said is a lot that I've just shared with you, but I share it because throughout all the darkness, God has been my anchor, my light, and my strength. Even when I couldn't walk anymore, He carried me. In total, I have actually tried to end my life probably close to 200 times, and every single time He has saved me. You may have seen recently that I went on a social media break recently to reconnect with God and to heal from that whole load of trauma that I've just described. I have come back a very different person. I have dropped old habits that were hurting me. I have taken up new habits that are now helping me and actually glorify God. There was actually a deeper meaning behind the black and white theme. This is actually a funeral for my old self. The Darius you once knew, the one with no boundaries, the one living by the lies, opinions, and rumours that other people said, the one who left God out of his life until he was really struggling and needed help very quickly, the one who is broken beyond repair, he's gone. This new Darius that you see before you, he trusts and loves Jesus. He is learning to have boundaries, which is very hard. He is learning to ignore the lies and the hate and to focus on the truth. He's learning to love himself, warts and all, and he is realizing that he can't fix himself. God does that. I am so grateful that you are all here to witness this. I hope that you still rock with the new Darius, and if you don't, it's cool. We've had some good times. As you may or may not know, I'm very much an advocate for suicide prevention. I intend to use my experiences to support others, so please, if you're struggling, I hope that you can reach out, but if not, I pray that there are people around you who will check in with you. Everyone's life, no matter your background, no matter what you've been through, is worth living. Without you, this world would not be the same. Quite frankly, if I wasn't here, no one would be here right now. No one would be here in this room. So that's the level of impact that each individual person has. So please do not suffer alone. Okay, I'm going to pick the mood back up now because I just said some really depressing stuff. So I want to say some big shout outs to some incredible people. My parents! So, firstly, to my parents, Mum and Dad, I love you so much.
Woo! Yeah!
Like all parents, they've often not known what to do when we get into these situations that have been new territory to us all. Parenting doesn't come with a handbook. It's been hard and it's been difficult, but they have supported me through it all. Mum, thank you so much for all of the prayers, the hugs. They are so appreciated. You have endured so much alongside me, and I know it's been painful, so thank you for not leaving me when times got messy. Dad?
What?
Hello?
What?
Thank you for keeping me accountable and for showing me how I can be the kind of man I was born to be. I hope I can grow up one day to be a little bit like you, just a little bit.
Just a little
just a little bit.
What do you mean a little bit?
The good bits.
Oh, good and bad.
As well as being my parents, you are parents to so many of my friends in the room. And I am very aware that right now they would happily come up to you right now and call you Mum and Dad. So thank you for being that for them as well. It means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to them also. To my grandparents, you're no longer here, but I can feel the power of your prayers every single day. Thank you for believing in me before I could even see the greatness in myself. To my closest besties, the ones I call brothers and sisters, my chosen family, you know exactly who you are. You have been with me in some of the highest heights and some of the deepest depths, and somehow you are still here, so thank you. I am so, so grateful. I am so grateful that you are all here. I am going to leave you with a song that I wrote as a little child that God brought back to my memory on the 26th of June when I was really, really struggling with thoughts that I was having around trauma responses and addictions. So this is what the song says. I'm going to sing it to you a little bit. It's a very simple song, so if you pick it up, join it. I want to be free, free I want to be. Freedom's coming, I'm not gonna die. This eagle's gonna soar and this water's gonna pour. I am free, I am free. I want to be free, free I want to be. Freedom's coming, I'm not gonna die. This eagle's gonna soar and this water's gonna pour. I am free, I am free. I wanna be free, free I wanna be. Freedom's coming, I'm not gonna die. This eagle's gonna soar and this water's gonna pour. I am free, I am free. So, anyone else feel tired now? Just me? So thank you all so much. It means a lot that you just stood there and listened. This was very important for me to say in front of a room full of people that I love and care about so much, so thank you. I pray that God blesses you all in everything that you do. And if you're crying, this is the time to please dry your tears, because it's time to bust out the candy dance, because that's what we need to do.